Welcome to Professor Guna Explains AI podcast. I'm Professor Guna Wardena, and I've had the privilege of teaching at top universities like Carnegie Mellon, Princeton, and Rutgers, often leading AI and data science courses with over 500 students. And joining me today is my AI co-host, Jessica.
Thank you, Professor Guna. Glad to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to dive into today's topic. Two of the most powerful types of AI we use, generative AI and predictive AI.
You know what's mind-blowing, Jessica? While everyone's obsessing over ChatGPT writing poetry, there's an AI system right now predicting tomorrow's weather with 90% accuracy by processing over 100 million data points per second.
That's fascinating. And we probably use that technology every day without even thinking about it.
Right? And here's what's really interesting. Predictive artificial intelligence, or AI, has been quietly revolutionizing our lives for years, while generative AI is getting all the headlines. Let me break down why this matters.
Please do. I'd love to understand the real difference between these technologies.
Well, think about checking your weather app each morning. That's predictive AI in action, taking massive amounts of historical data and current conditions to make an educated guess about tomorrow's forecast.
So it's basically learning from patterns in past data to make future predictions?
Precisely. And what's fascinating is how similar this is to human learning. Consider how a child learns to tell the difference between dogs and cats. They observe patterns, make connections, and eventually can identify new animals they've never seen before.
Though I imagine sometimes they might make mistakes, just like AI systems do.
That's exactly right. And this brings us to something really interesting: how predictive AI is transforming major industries. Take real estate, for example. Instead of relying on a realtor's gut feeling, AI can analyze hundreds of factors simultaneously to predict home values.
Well, that sounds incredibly complex. How does it actually process all that information?
Here's where it gets fascinating. The AI creates what we call a predictive model. Think of it like a sophisticated formula that might look at square footage, location, local school ratings, and even economic indicators. But here's the key difference from traditional methods: it's constantly learning and adjusting based on new data.
So it's basically taking the guesswork out of pricing?
Well, not entirely. And this is crucial to understand. It's reducing uncertainty, but not eliminating it. You know how weather forecasts get less accurate the further out they predict? Same principle applies here.
That makes me wonder about all the other ways this technology might be working behind the scenes.
Oh, it's everywhere. When Netflix suggests your next show, when your credit card company flags suspicious activity, or when Google Maps predicts your arrival time. That's all predictive AI at work.
And this is completely different from what ChatGPT and other generative AI tools are doing?
Yes, and here's the key distinction. Predictive AI is like a super smart analyst making educated guesses about the future, while generative AI is more like a creative artist capable of creating entirely new content.
That really helps clarify the difference. But what about the challenges and limitations?
That's a crucial point. Predictive AI can only make predictions based on past patterns. It can't account for completely unprecedented events. Think about how COVID-19 threw off every predictive model in early 2020s.
So we need to be careful about over-relying on these systems?
Exactly right. These tools are incredibly powerful aids, but they're not replacements for human judgment. The real power comes from combining AI capabilities with human insight and expertise.
You know, Professor Guna, this whole conversation has really opened my eyes to how AI is evolving beyond just the chatbots and image generators we hear about.
So, here's the thing. Both generative AI and predictive AI are incredibly useful. And honestly, I use them all the time.
Professor Guna, can you explain how you use these AIs in your everyday work?
Absolutely. I use generative AI all the time. For example, when preparing my lectures, I can quickly generate examples and synthetic datasets to use in class. It's a huge time saver.
That sounds really useful. But AI isn't perfect, right?
Yes, AI can make mistakes, so I always double check its output. Since I know the subject well, I can edit, refine, and use the content properly to ensure accuracy. AI is a great assistant, but it still needs human expertise to guide it.
So I am thinking this is like communicating with another human, right?
Exactly, Jessica. It's just like talking to another person. When someone gives us information, we don't automatically assume it's 100% correct. We think critically, verify facts, and use our own knowledge to judge whether it makes sense.
So basically, anyone can use AI tools to be more productive at work, right? Like each person can be AI boosted?
Yes, definitely. Each of us need to learn how to use AI tools for our own use cases.
What about predictive AI use cases?
They're a bit more complicated. If I want to use predictive AI in my work, I have two options. If possible, I find a predictive model that is already trained, and in that case, I plug in new data to get an output. That is not too bad. I just have to learn how to use the model. But if no such model exists, and the problem I have is unique, then I have to spend some time building a model. I will have to collect data, clean the data, analyze them, and pick the right algorithm to build the model. For this, you need to spend a bit more time learning how to do this.
So that takes time and effort?
Yes, this is when you take a course in data science, machine learning, or AI. The techniques you learn in these courses are highly valuable. If you are interested in looking at interactive AI-assisted video courses, I recommend a Princeton University originated platform Qubits.ai.
So, Professor Guna, that's really the key takeaway. While generative AI might be getting all the attention right now, it's the combination of different AI approaches that's truly transforming our world. The future lies in understanding how to leverage both predictive and generative AI together.
Yes, that is exactly right. So that is all for today, folks. We will have another episode on understanding the potential of AI beyond the hype. Thank you, Jessica, for your participation.
Thank you, and I am looking forward to the next episode.